Hi, good evening. City, of course, have just lost 1-0 to fucking Liverpool at Anfield. Of course he did. Only at Anfield, always at Anfield, and that is football, and that's what it did to you. I'm not going to lie. I know I'm usually quite composed and all this kind of stuff, and I try and play it all cool and whatever and calm down, but fuck me, I was annoyed at full time. I did think I needed an hour, just to settle my head a little bit and kind of settle down and just kind of collect my thoughts. And I do feel a little bit better now I've done that. Sometimes you do need to step back a little bit, don't you? Because football can do that. Football can really frustrate you at times, and you don't really see the wood through the trees. You don't feel particularly clear and all this kind of stuff. But having read everyone's points on Twitter, having really thought about the game, having listened to loads of arguments one way or another, I do feel relatively confident in where I stand right now. And honestly, the position is of immense frustration still. I know I get called a happy clapper every now and then, but I am willing to admit when I think our team has got it wrong, and I do think today, despite not playing that badly, I'm not. Look, you can get things wrong and still not play terribly, if that makes sense. I don't think City were awful today, but I still don't think that we made the correct calls and all that kind of stuff. I still think that we probably could have played better in a different circumstance and a different set of players, and that's what sort of frustrates me. I guess the frustration is that what if moment, that hope that you could do something a little bit different, and I feel like today was a good example of that, where we kind of set ourselves up for potentially a difficult day. I wasn't one that ever thought Liverpool weren't going to be brilliant today. I mean, I said that on the overlap the other day on Gary Neville's overlap thing, that I feel like Liverpool were going to turn it around and they would probably, they probably get the result against City at some point, and I felt like they would probably turn it around and get a top four, and that has happened today. It doesn't really surprise me. I went for City to win in my preview. Yeah, of course they're going to back my team and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not really surprised that Liverpool were very good today. I knew they were going to be up for it, and I think Klopp did a good job of essentially motivating everyone, and he did get them up for it, but I still think like City could have been better. Obviously, the contentious decision is the VAR moment. I'll talk about City's performance in a minute. The contentious decision is the VAR moment. And what the argument is, it's not whether it's a foul or not. Look, I actually see the argument for maybe it being a foul. I actually see that. I can admit that. I'm not going to be incredibly biased. Though I've seen many people who I trust who said it's probably half a dozen of one, half a dozen, six of the other, and I do sort of trust that. Like, I do trust that it was a little bit, everyone was kind of all over each other. And what Gundogan has said and what Guardiola said and what Bernardo has said is that they played a game in a certain way today, that they played a game in an aggressive way. Like, the idea was that the referee said he was going to let things go and he was going to let people be a little bit physical with each other and tuck a shirt every now and then and just be a bit all over each other. And he said that's how he was going to referee the game. So the players play to that level. And guess what frustrates Bernardo and Gundogan is Bernardo said that if you see the referee is going to be fussy, you don't play in a certain way because you feel you may get called up on it. So you start to learn the flow of the game and you react to how the referee referees the game. And the referee said, carry on, it can be physical, I'm not going to call anything big, all that kind of shit. So the players play to that. So when you see you see a goal get pulled out for that, people can turn around and say it's a foul. They might be right, but I guess the game is so frustrating, it's so unequal and so lacking consistency that you could probably rule out every single goal from a corner if you really wanted to. If you really wanted to go look at it, because you'd have 5 or 6 penalties a game. You could rule out every goal if you really wanted to, because that happens everywhere, all the time, all the pitch, from every set piece goal. But that doesn't happen. And why does that not happen? Because it isn't realistic. It isn't realistic, and they never clamp down on these things. So I guess that's where the frustration comes from. And the feeling is, let's be honest, man, it does only happen at Anfield. Look, if that was a Liverpool goal, that isn't being ruled out. And I'm not trying to be bitter here, but come on, man. It fucking obviously isn't going to be ruled out. Because it isn't. It's not going to be ruled out. I'm not trying to be bitter. It's just genuinely true. We all know that. It's just, he's not going to give that out against, the weight of the cop, is he? Of course he's not going to do it. He's not going to rule over all that. It's just too much. And look, that's where the consistency comes from. The consistency, or the lack of, is just frustrating. Super chat from Amara Riff says Cancelo and Pep man of the match for Liverpool. Amar not happy at all there. Amar, I get it, not happy. Yeah, look, individually there was a mistake from Cancelo, and Cancelo walks around saying it's my fault today. Look, yeah, he made a mistake, he did. Cancelo getting spun by Salah is a story as old as time, unfortunately, he doesn't. The way I feel about Cancelo's performance today is that we sort of did it to ourselves a little bit. Like, he should have defended better than that. Just hold him up and there's no problems. But there were signs were there anyway, and he'd gone in behind a few times, and it wasn't exactly, it wasn't exactly like a surprise that they got in behind. The mistake, yeah, fair enough or whatever. But like, it wasn't a shock to me. I mean, the thing is that really frustrates me is that. He's like, I feel like we sort of played it to ourselves today. We did it against ourselves. Like, I hate it. One of my big bugbears in general in football, and I don't mean about Guardiola, I mean of anyone, is when someone tries something new, like when in a big game, with a big pressure environment. In general, people, when they're trying something new, they like consistency. It's the same reason people wear the comfy pair of shoes when they're doing something, or they have routine, they have that. People like consistency and rhythm and ideas. You don't want to deal with new ideas when you're already under pressure. And I feel like trying new things today, and we did try new things. For some players, we're playing a role that they've not played for an awful long time, or not played full stop. Today, we had a situation where we played wing backs. That was wing backs today. That was Cancelo as a wing back on the right and Phil Foden as a wing back on the left. Like that's not been done in an awful long time. Cancelo these days, I love him, but he's not a very good right wing back. He just hasn't been a very good right wing back for a long time. I'm sure he could be if you played him 5-10 games in a row, you know? If you played him 5-10 games in a row to get his form up there, yeah. But he can't just switch it back on like that. And I think it was really obvious that he was relatively naff down the right-hand side. And I love Cancelo, but what Cancelo is good at these days is he's just really good at helping us build the attack on the left. He's become really smart at that. He's never been a great defender, but what we got today was a guy who didn't defend very well, but also couldn't attack. So I'd rather a guy who couldn't defend well, but still attack on the left, because at least then we would have got some of our forward momentum. Foden felt too deep, and then often we had Gundogan, Haaland, and De Bruyne. We played a front three of De Bruyne, Haaland, and Gundogan. Gundogan and De Bruyne were up alongside Haaland, pressing for most of that first half, and it was fucking mental, man. Like, I didn't understand that. It felt strange and not done before. He did it because he wanted to play Bernardo as a pivot, but for me in that instance, just genuinely play Grealish instead of Gundogan. Grealish and Foden on the right, and Haaland, play them as your forward three. The problem is we had Kevin De Bruyne waiting up on the right wing. Waiting up on the right wing, just hanging about, hanging about to get the ball. Like that's what Kevin De Bruyne is. Kevin De Bruyne should be deeper and breaking the lines. And he's better when he's got people ahead of him. He only ever had when he got the ball Haaland and Gundogan or whatever. Like, he needed people to run ahead of him. That's when he's at his best, Kevin De Bruyne. But no, he was in a weird position. And he was dog shit. He absolutely was. De Bruyne was poor today, but he was playing in a role that just didn't suit him. Like, I don't really think we should change that. I mean, like, I love Pep, I do, but I think today we did get it wrong, and it doesn't make me less of a fan. Like, I don't think we played well because I don't think the system suited us. I think De Bruyne wasn't playing well. I don't think Gundogan got into the game. I think Haaland had a couple of half chances, nothing strong, half chances at most, but he couldn't really massively get into it. I think Foden had spells where he was really good actually, but he just, I don't know. What Man City are at the very best is City work the ball forward. We work it well, and we work overlaps on one side. We work overloads, and there was none of that today, man. There was none of that at all. There was none of that kind of thing where we build it over to one way, and that's what frustrated me. Like, you didn't get any of those things where you get Bernardo, Grealish, and Foden, and or Cancelo joining, where they're all kind of working a little bit of space down the left. There was none of that at all. There was none of that. It was just literally a case of just Foden kind of on his own, and that's what makes it a little bit frustrating to me personally. Look, I kind of wish that we'd seen the usual formation set up, because it didn't work today at all. Louis saying he overthought the game because of how Liverpool played against Rangers, for me at least. Maybe that was true, Louis. Maybe it was, my friend. Daniel saying, had a guy ask me about City today, but I had no idea who Liverpool was or if they're any good. Maybe feel a little bit better. Interesting, mate. Interesting. But yeah, like, to me, like, it was just frustrating, because I think even though we played all right in spells, I think we could have been so much better. When I think of the great Manchester City performances, it's when City play as themselves, when they're not conceding to anyone. Man City at the very best are a powerful, dominating team where we go, this is how we fucking play. I don't give a shit how you play. You adapt to us. We will not adapt to you. And City, in my opinion, are at the very best when they are doing that. And today just felt too many, like there was too many compromises that neutralised what KDB did at his best, what Foden did, what Gundogan did, what Cancelo did. And we've lost a lot of ingenuity. And I understand it can happen. I understand we didn't play awfully. I don't think we did. We just played all right. There's moments where City played quite well, and there's moments where we played pretty poorly. I don't think we played terribly, but I think we could have been better. And I guess what really frustrates is the what if feeling. Like, I don't know if we could have played better. I can't prove it. And I'm not going to say we definitely, absolutely could, but my instinct says we could have. And I can't prove that. And maybe I'm being entitled, and it's just, we didn't really feel like we were ever controlling the flow of the game. And we didn't feel like it felt like we were getting the ball forward against our best wishes. Like, we weren't particularly working the ball with those nice little triangles that you see. And we weren't working it up the pitch and having 30, 40 passes that Manchester City do well. It was none of that. There were some moments where we did have, obviously with the quality we got, when we created the odd half chance here and there. But it didn't feel like we were working. Look, how many chances did you see where, like, how often do we see Man City get those chances where Bernardo will receive the ball and he'll play it to Kevin De Bruyne, who'll cross it from behind, or Bernardo Silva or Foden will get him behind after working the ball really tightly in the channels. There was none of that today, which is Manchester City's trademark. And given the fact that we had, old man Milner there and Gomez playing in defence, it felt like we weren't working the channels and the half spaces that we really do. And that's what frustrates me, because it didn't feel like Man City. It felt like a City who were trying something different, a different flavour. And I just want Man City of the flavour that we've seen so far. Yeah, that's what's frustrated me. But look, I'm not saying throw the baby out of the bathwater. I'm not saying Pep's a fraud. I'm not saying Cancelo's shite. I'm not saying De Bruyne or Haaland or whatever. I'm not criticising all these players. I'm just saying today felt like, to me, an experiment that maybe we didn't need to make. And that Liverpool, we gave them the momentum and the energy to get back into it. Maybe I'm fucking wrong, Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm talking nonsense, But, like, it did feel a little bit like, it felt a little bit like we could have done so much better today. And, like, City, like, now, obviously, they're a brilliant team, and I don't think this will massively affect the flow of the game, of the season. Sorry, I do think City will, they will react well to it. I'm sure we will against Brighton, but we're giving Liverpool momentum. We're giving Liverpool momentum, and we've shot ourselves in the foot a little bit, and it could have been a little bit more. And that's what frustrates me. Yes, the game could have turned if we'd given that goal, and maybe that goal should have been good, but I do think we could have been a little bit better than that we were today. And it's frustrating. It is frustrating, but that is life, City, obviously, Pep will react to it. I don't think there's any time to worry about it. And ultimately, we're still many points ahead of Liverpool. We've got to obviously keep up with Arsenal now. We're looking absolutely brilliant. But I do trust Guardiola to fix this, and not fix it, I guess, reassess and go on and develop from this. But look, I just kind of wish we played our usual system today and Cancelo wasn't as a wing back. Maybe we had to do it. Maybe if we're being honest, maybe if Cancelo was over at left back today, Salah would have ran him past him every single time. Maybe that's actually true. But at least we could have played our own game. And we've seen Salah beat Cancelo and City still win at Anfield. So look, it's tough, obviously, after a game like this, because Liverpool brings out your emotions. Liverpool does get you going, like it does, and like you do want to see City play at the best, and you do want to see you get 3 points on a day like today. And I kind of wish we just played our own game and not played to Liverpool, because the last thing you want to do at Anfield is play to Liverpool's strengths, and we did. And to be fair, Liverpool were good today. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that that they were poor. And if we want to be totally honest as well and show some humility, there's a good chance that disallowed goal doesn't happen if the ref does actually give the corner in the first place. Ederson made a quite phenomenal save, if we're being honest. It was a wonderful save, and that could have changed the momentum of the game. Like, if they got a corner there, we probably don't go and score down the other end. I mean, something could have changed as well. But it's a really interesting debate, this whole VAR thing, when you think about it. Like, should that foul, like, look, if the referee's playing the game soft, I'd be interested to see what you're thinking in the comments as well. If the referee is playing the game soft, so he's playing it tough, like he's playing the game tough and he's not giving any soft fouls. Should the soft fouls then be given when you go back to VAR? That's where it gets frustrating for the players, because it's like, guys, you can do this today. You can do this today. Right? You can all do this. You can all pull each other. You can all push each other, and you can all be a little bit physical and all that kind of stuff. You can do that today, but you can't do it if someone scores a goal, because then they'll cancel it out. Because they'll be like, look, he fucking just pulled me earlier, so I pulled him back. Like, what point do you, when is it allowed, when's it not allowed? And I guess that's where they get frustrated, because you do play the game to how the referee does. And, you know, I'm pretty certain there's an ex-professional footballer watching this now. If you're watching, Micah, hello. I'm pretty certain Micah's watching this, and he'll probably know if he's somehow going to chat. I don't know, but footballers do play the game, and I know they do. They play the game to the momentum and the flow of the referees, and that I can understand is frustrating. And I get why Bernardo's frustrated, and I get why Gundogan's frustrated, and I get why Pep's frustrated. It is probably a foul, but would that foul have happened if the ref, you know? Do you see what I'm saying? It is frustrating. It's just frustrating. And that's what makes it annoying today. Like, I do think we could have been a little bit better, and I do think we could have been better. But that's how it is. MR with a super chat says, does anyone have the balls to say, no, that's a bad idea to Pep? Pep always does it in big games. We will never win the Champions League with him. It's not actually true to say he always does it in big games, though, does he, mate? It doesn't, because we've won plenty of big games. And the fact that we get to finals and all this kind of stuff, and the fact that we win leagues is because we win big games. Like, I don't think it's fair to say that he always does it, because that's a sweeping generalisation. He doesn't always do it. He does sometimes do it. But look, there isn't a football manager in the world, there isn't a football player, there isn't anyone in the world that also doesn't have moments of moments of weakness or whatever, or maybe get it wrong. Pep will get things wrong. Pep will get things wrong. Klopp will get things wrong. Mourinho got things wrong. Ferguson got things wrong. Fucking Cruyff got things wrong. Brian Clough got things wrong. Everyone does. And maybe every now and then, maybe the fact that you have to accept. It just frustrates me too, but maybe every now and then the rough comes with the smooth, and the smooth is so fucking smooth, so bold and smooth, so beautifully bold, and like, that's the thing, man. Like, the smooth is so beautiful, and it's giving us things that I never thought I would see, that every now and then you just got to be like, I love you, Pep, but you have to accept that every now and then. What makes Pep a genius can also occasionally be his downfall, because we can turn around and go, he overthinks things, but if he didn't overthink things, we wouldn't have Zinchenko as a left back. We wouldn't have fucking seen Phil Foden play as a false nine and City reinvent the formation and win the league for years. So what makes him overthink things also makes us win things at the same time, you know. That so as much as you're right, I can't complain, because I can complain and I can't complain, because I do appreciate him, and I don't want to just dig him out and ignore. I don't want to ignore what makes Pep brilliant, and because it's the same time, what makes Pep occasionally frustrating also makes him brilliant, you know. So it's just a bad day. Maybe Alex is right. Maybe in the chat, maybe it is a bad day. We move on. I do think we could have been better today, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. It doesn't make me, you know, a negative fan. It doesn't make anyone a happy clapper for defending it. And Riff, fair play for jumping a comment. I'm not trying to call you out, Amar. You're upset and emotional too, and I feel the same some way. And we throw words about, you know, in a relaxed sense. So like, I'm not trying to call you out, Amar. Thank you for the super chat again. You're a superstar. But like, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Like. Look, I love City. I love it, and I think we will turn around from this. But maybe sometimes the best thing can happen to you is a performance like this today, because things probably felt a bit too easy. Maybe this is our reality check, and maybe we actually need a little bit of adversity to get us going. Like, that game today wasn't a good performance. It wasn't a terrible one. And there's a big question mark if you played in a certain way. Could things have been different? I do think I was crying out for Grealish, by the way. Grealish is absolutely crying out for that game. And that's not me being reactionary. I literally wanted Grealish to start beforehand, because it just feels like a Grealish kind of game where he brings the ball forward. And I do think that's a question could have been asked. And I do think the disallowed goal was a question that can be debated. Arguably, it was a foul. But it's the context, isn't it? And I guess that's what frustrates players. And I guess that frustrates so many people. But either way, you know, I have accepted it, and we will move on, and we'll be mature about this. But, you know, fuck me, I hate football. I hate football. I did need an hour to walk away and think about this game and see how I feel about it. And, like, Liverpool, it's Anfield, it's a fucking nonsense, isn't it? And ultimately, I think we can pretend that Liverpool are shite, but they were not shite. They're not shite, you know. Their form this season has been a misnomer. It hasn't been normal. They're obviously miles better than that. And they were obviously always going to turn up today. And they were obviously going to be miles better. And Salah don't know where Grealish is on my head still. Salah was obviously going to be miles better, and the crowd were going to be well up for it. And Klopp probably played a blind him, man. Maybe Klopp did actually get behind the players. Maybe Klopp did actually motivate them. Maybe he was there really trying to push them. I don't know. And maybe it worked. Maybe all that nonsense in the press this week, maybe it worked. Maybe it created a siege mentality. But fair play to Liverpool. Fair play to Liverpool. I know I sound bitter. Of course I'm fucking bitter. It's the idea anyway, by the way, that football fans can't be bitter. Of course I'm bitter. I'm a football fan. I absolutely fucking can't stand Liverpool. And I'm gutted that we lost today. And imagine not being bitter. I don't... Absolutely. I'm like, they're still 10 points behind us, though. So there you fucking go. You can have the win today. You're still miles behind us. Yeah, they won today, though. You know. But I am bitter. I am in a bad mood. And it is frustrating me. And like, I'm pretty calm after games, but I try living in the dark days. I was in the dark days, mate. I'm 37 years old. Absolutely, you know. Absolutely, I was there. Like, I only get frustrated after the result when I feel like it was on us, if that makes sense, you know. Like, I don't mind losing a game, but I only ever get overly frustrated when I feel like we did it to ourselves. Like, I don't mind if we play well and lose. I don't mind if we play really well and some bad mistakes happen, and I don't mind that. Or we just have a bad day. But it does only ever bug me where I feel like we've tried something different when we probably shouldn't have tried something different. That's when it gets to me a little bit. It just gets a little bit frustrating, and that's the only time I get frustrated, because it's like you do it to yourself. It's quite radio. You do it to yourself, you do, and that's what really hurts. Football. Anyway, we will move on. We will be brilliant. We will score loads of goals and win loads of games. And this season just kind of got interesting. And Arsenal, fair fucks to them, man. Arsenal currently top of the table. They're pace setters, and I didn't think I'd be saying that at the start of the season. They have 4 points clear as it stands, unbeaten. No, they've lost one. Won 9 out of 10. That's really impressive. It's really impressive. And the season is a long way to go. We can see an awful lot. And City will improve. Brighton suddenly becomes a very interesting game, you know. I'm looking at Arsenal's fixtures right now. They got Southampton. They're going to win that. They got Forest. They're going to win that. Chelsea away is a big step for them. For City, you know, we've got Brighton now. We've got Dortmund away. Leicester, Sevilla, Fulham, and Chelsea in the EFL Cup, and Brentford. Look, there should be a few wins there. There should be a fair few wins. And all of a sudden, look, you're only as good as your last game. You know, if we beat Brighton, you know, all of a sudden the mood's changed. But for the next few days, it's going to be frustrating. I can't deny that. But that is football. Guys, frustrating. But I love you all loads anyway. Thank you for watching this. I'll catch you all soon. Football. Fucking football. In a bit.